Chris Yandek here with you. I'd like to welcome my guest this time. This past year, he was one of the faces at the center as we had a conversation about culture and issues and all those amazing things. But now, of course, tomorrow his paperback comes out. It's called Do You. He is obviously one of the people responsible for where hip-hop is today. Russell Simmons, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. It's a pleasure to be on.
Well, thank you so much. Before we get into everything else, it's been a year since the events of Don Imus's comments to the women's Rutgers basketball team, and then a discussion of race, rap music, and culture on shows like Oprah and You Are Everywhere and the rest of the media. What do you feel has changed in the last year from all the discussions we had?
Well, one thing is that we are more careful about what we put on the media. So I think, it's always a good thing to have dialogue. I mean, we've had recently a more insightful dialogue on race, and there's been a lack of willingness to really address on the surface. We talk about it, but we never really talk about what's underneath. And I think we've done a little more of that lately. And the Imus situation certainly brought to light the disconnect. There's difference between intention and words. And we've been arguing that point for many years in the hip hop community. And I certainly, I thought maybe the mainstream couldn't digest certain things. It dawned on me one day when I went into the Sirius radio station, and I went and I sat with Deepak Chopra, who's a dear friend of mine, and with Deepak, we used certain Sanskrit words, and I went to the Maxim channel, and we said certain things. I went to the gay channel, we said certain things, and I went to the hip-hop channel, and we said certain things, and I noticed that every station I went to, it was a real good greet and everything was cool. We talked about my book at the time, and kind of the whole discussion about bitches and hoes was difficult, to have during a time that I was selling a book about love and consciousness. But we got through it. The book became a bestseller. But it dawned on me at that moment that what I was doing with the dialogue was very, very important.
Yeah, well, definitely Do You 12 Laws to Access the Power in You to Achieve Happiness and Success. It's now available in a paperback edition tomorrow. There are many successful books out there today marketed towards young people. Why is yours different than any of these others besides your experiences?
What makes my book different?
Yes.
Well, there's no difference between, in my estimate, yesterday I had an event. I'm the chairman of the Foundation for Ethnic Understanding. We raise money for our Muslim-Jewish dialogue, and I noticed that people think they're disconnected, they think that somehow they're not connected, or that when someone else, deals with injustice, it's not their own injustice, or they just, feel separate. And it's funny because, I did mention something that I know everybody must know, that all the scriptures run parallel, and they all say the same thing, and the prophets, no matter what year, what language, what color, had the same science for religion, the science of happiness, and the karmic laws are the same no matter who says them. And my book says a lot of the same stuff. It's in the Bible, in the Quran, the Torah. Because hard work, dedication, and faith is a recipe for God realization. And also eye on the goal, which may be that you want to promote a happy, peaceful life. But hard work, dedication, and faith, there are rules. That, and there's a little bit of so how do you say it? Different languages, different. So I, for me, it was a cleansing process. I wrote down what I know is the road to happiness and success. The book Do You was about. I use the Yoga Sutras as my Bible, but it said the same thing. People read it rings true, but can you remind people to remember it?
If you'd like to read or listen to this entire insightful interview, click the link below this video, or head over to www.cyinterview.com. Again, that's the letters CY, the word interview.com. This is Chris Yandek. Thanks for listening.